Hey there, Brianna here again, and we are going to talk about how to take that chalk drawing that you made and how to vectorize it in Adobe Illustrator, and then some different things you can do to touch it up. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you're taking your picture, you want to make sure that you don't get a lot of flash on the picture because you might not be able to see all the details of the drawing as evenly. Like for instance, in one of the pictures I took, you could see like a lot of light on this part of the picture, but not a lot of light on the other parts. So just try to make sure the lighting is as even as possible when you take your picture, and then you're going to place it into your document like I did right there from the file menu. To fit the artwork to the artboard, I'm going to go to Shift O, and actually it looks like it fits there pretty nicely, so we're going to leave that the way it is. But if you're going to do it next time, you're going to come up here to presets and then just go fit artwork to bounds and then go back to the arrow key, and now it fits perfectly. Alright, so now that we have our picture placed in our document, we're going to click on it. We're going to go to, well, you can see it up here in image trace, but normally you would find it in object, down here, image trace, and then make. And this is going to vectorize our entire image so that we can edit it. Alright, I'm okay with that result, but I want to make it a little bit better. So if I come to this box here, it'll give me this window, and then I can change the threshold here, which is either going to give me more light colors, or I didn't really feel like I saw too much change there. You can see the white is showing up more, but I actually want to go this way and have it show up a little bit less, so you get that kind of chalky feeling, that rustic feeling, and I like the way it looks in this view, so I'm going to go up here to expand, and that's going to create all these dots. But what we have here is a grouped set of objects, so I'm going to right click on the image and ungroup. And then it actually made this part of the image, so I'm just going to delete all these extra spaces around here that I don't really want. Actually, just to get rid of all of the black altogether, let's just say we only want to work with the chalkboard part. We want to get rid of all the black. The quickest way to do that is to click on any object that is filled completely with black, go up to select, same fill color, so that's going to select all of the objects with the color black. I didn't know this for the longest time, so that is just the greatest shortcut. Now you can't see anything right now, but I'm just going to make a box. I use the M key for the box shortcut. Drag it across, you can already see that something is still there. You can see it moving, and I'm going to change it to orange for the pumpkins. And it's in a grayscale color right now. I don't really remember how to fix that at this moment, but I know that if I click this, it'll just turn orange. And then to send the box to the back, I'm going to hit Shift Command left bracket, and that's going to show us our artwork. Cool. And actually, I'm going to cut that and put it on its own separate layer, just because I like to work with different layers, and then I'm going to lock that layer. Okay, so what are some things that we can do now that we have our chalk drawing? Let's say maybe we want to change some of the colors of, let's say, things. So we just select these different images. I'm just holding Shift and selecting. But you can see that there's certain things here, like how the A kind of ran into the pumpkin, and this S ran into part of the shadow, and we don't really want those selected at the same time. We just want to change the colors of the letters. So one thing you're going to do is, or one thing you can do, is if you come up to the eraser tool is usually here right under the pencil on your toolbar, go back to the knife tool And if you zoom in, I use Command plus on the Mac to zoom in. You can take the knife tool and you can make a line and kind of separate it from the pumpkin so that you're kind of separating the A from the pumpkin entirely. So right now you're still in the knife tool, but if you hit the V key, because right now everything is still selected, hit the V key and you hit the A, and now you can see that only the A is selected. Actually, you see that part of the shadow here is also selected. So we can go back to the knife tool again and cut this part, sort of virtually cut this part off of the A. And if you go back to the black arrow key, you can now see that these are two distinct shapes. So now you can change the color of the A and it will be independent of the shadow and the pumpkin. Pretty neat. Some other things you can do is maybe if you feel like some of these spaces didn't get filled in and you wanted to fill them in, but you still wanted to have that chalkboard feel, you can use this panel here. This panel works that I'm kind of highlighting with my arrow. This panel works when you're using the brush tool. So if you hit B on your keyboard, that will give you the brush tool. If you select one of these options that you can find up here in this box, under the libraries and artistic charcoal pencil, you can use that to make your own line. And it looks pretty realistic or pretty close to the style we already have going. Maybe this one is a little light, but if you pick something like this, for instance, that's a little closer to what we're going for. And you can even change the stroke by clicking on the stroke that you made with the brush tool and coming up here and changing the point size to something like this. And now it looks even closer to what we had originally. And maybe you want to fill this in a little bit more or give it just a little bit more texture. That's an option. You can also use the A arrow and select one of these points. You can change the shape of the path that you made in case you want to move wherever you made the line originally. Oh hey, look, I made this. I actually applied a sort of texture here without realizing it. I had this selected and then I selected the artistic charcoal pencil option. So you can even do it to shapes that already exist and apply new filters to them to create even more effects. That wasn't what I was going for, but that's totally something you can do too. So that's kind of neat that happened. I just want to make it go back to the way it was though. I kind of liked it the way I had it originally. So I'm just going to go back up here and switch it back to basic. All right. And those are some tools that you can use when you are editing your vector object. So I hope you have fun playing around with whatever chalk art you make, and send it to me if you, once you're done. I'd love to see it. All right, see you next time.